Stop. Before you throw that Kirkland ribeye in your cart, I need you to look at the label. Not the price. Not the weight. Look at the tiny right under the name. Does it say blade tenderized? If you're shopping at Costco, there's a 90% chance it does. And that little phrase is the reason your medium rare steak might be playing Russian roulette with your gut. Most people think Costco meat is the gold standard of bulk buying. You see the marbling, you see the price tag, and you think you're getting a steal. But in the last 18 months, something has shifted in the supply chain that nobody is talking about, except the people who actually work in the industry. I've spent 15 years in food sourcing and culinary logistics. I've been inside the processing plants. I know how the sausage is made, literally. And what I'm seeing at Costco right now isn't just a quality dip. It's a fundamental change in how they process the protein you feed your family. You think you're skipping the middleman. But the truth? You're skipping the safety standards. Here's the thing about blade tenderizing or mechanical tenderization. It sounds fancy, right? Like they're doing you a favor? Wrong. In a normal butcher shop, a steak is a solid piece of muscle. Bacteria, E. coli, salmonella, sits on the surface. When you sear that steak, the heat kills the surface bacteria instantly. That's why you can eat a rare steak safely. The inside is sterile. But Costco does something different. To take cheaper, tougher beef and make it feel soft, they run it through a machine that punches it with hundreds of tiny needles. Guess what those needles do? They take the bacteria from the outside of the meat and punch it deep into the center of the steak. Now, look at that label again. Does it have a cooking recommendation? It probably says, cook to an internal temperature of 160 degrees. 160 degrees. That is well done. That is shoe leather. Costco knows that if you cook their bladed tenderized ribeye to a beautiful 130-degree medium rare, that bacteria inside might still be alive. They are legally covering their backsides by telling you to ruin the steak. So you have two choices. Eat a safe, tough piece of leather, or eat a tender, juicy health risk. And for years, I looked the other way because the price was right. But lately, the math isn't mathing anymore. But it gets worse. If you think the beef situation is tricky, wait until we talk about the chicken. Go to the freezer section, or the fresh poultry aisle. Grab a pack of the boneless, skinless chicken breasts. Look at the size of them. They are massive, unnaturally massive. We call this woody breast syndrome. It's what happens when commercial growers force chickens to grow too big, too fast. The muscle fibers get knotty, hard, and stringy. You've probably had this happen. You bite into a piece of chicken, and instead of a tender snap, it feels like you're chewing on a rubber tire. It's crunchy. It's stringy. It's practically inedible. 2 years ago, this was a rare occurrence at Costco. Maybe one breast in a pack of 10. Today, I'm seeing reports, and experiencing it myself, where entire packs are affected. You are paying premium prices for meat that has the year of a dog toy. And the wildest part? They raised the prices while the quality tanked. I know what you're thinking. Kaka, it's inflation. Everything is more expensive. Sure. Beef prices are up 12% across the board. But a local butcher, who doesn't blade tenderize your meat and who sources smaller, non-woody birds, is now charging prices that are dangerously close to Costco's bulk rates. The gap is closing. The bulk discount isn't enough to justify the bulk risk anymore. I walked into my local warehouse yesterday. I saw prime-grade beef that looked like choice. I saw air-chilled chicken that looked like it had gone 10 rounds with a heavyweight boxer. The value proposition is breaking. But here is where it gets really dark. There is a specific change to their famous rotisserie chicken. Yes, the $4.99 holy grail that they are hoping you won't notice. And it involves a lawsuit that just dropped. I'm going to tell you exactly what's in that chicken in a second, and it might make you rethink that cheap dinner forever. I promised I'd tell you what's in the $4.99 chicken. And honestly, it's worse than I thought. For years, that golden brown bird was the lost leader that got us all in the door. We grabbed it, felt smart, and ate it in the car. But a massive class action lawsuit just dropped that blows the lid off the wholesome image. Costco has been slapping a no preservatives label on these birds for years. The lawsuit says that is a lie. The secret ingredients? Sodium phosphate and carrageenan. Now, corporate food scientists will tell you these are safe. But let me tell you what they actually do. Sodium phosphate is an emulsifier. It's used to artificially force water into meat so it weighs more. You aren't just paying for chicken. You're paying for chemical salt water. And carrageenan? It's a thickener derived from seaweed that is notorious for causing inflammation and digestive distress. So if you've ever eaten that chicken and felt bloated or sluggish 30 minutes later, that's not the meat sweats. That is your body reacting to industrial additives that were never supposed to be there. They are pumping these birds full of science experiments to keep the price at $4.99. The bird hasn't gotten cheaper. The quality has. But even if you don't care about the chemicals, you have to care about the packaging. Notice something different lately? The hard plastic clamshells are gone. Now, the chickens come in these floppy, greasy plastic bags. Costco says this is to save plastic. They claim it's an eco move. I call BS. Here is the culinary reality. When you put a hot, steaming roasted chicken into a flexible plastic bag, you are creating a steam sauna. The steam has nowhere to go. It condenses right back onto the bird. Result? That crispy skin you love? Gone. It turns into a slimy, wet flab. But it gets darker. High heat plus soft plastic equals leaching. We are seeing reports of the plastic bags degrading and sticking to the skin. You are literally seasoning your dinner with microplastics. And because the bags leak constantly, the meat juice drips all over your other groceries. I saw a lady in the checkout line last week wiping chicken grease off a box of diapers. It's unsanitary, it ruins the ear, and it's a massive downgrade disguised as sustainability. Okay, Kaka, you say? I'll skip the chicken. I'm just here for the USDA Prime steaks. Listen to me closely. Costco Prime is not Steakhouse Prime. Yes, it has the USDA stamp. Yes, it has the marbling. But there is a crucial step missing that changes everything. Aging. A high-end butcher or steakhouse dry ages their beef. This evaporates moisture, concentrates the beefy flavor, and breaks down enzymes to make it tender. Costco sells wet-aged beef. That sounds fancy, but it just means beef sitting in a plastic bag in its own blood. When beef sits in a cryovac bag for too long, it develops a metallic, sour taste. It doesn't taste like beef. It tastes like iron. And have you noticed the purge? That's the industry term for the red liquid at the bottom of the package. Next time you buy a roast, look underneath it. They hide a massive soaker pad, basically a meat diaper, under the cut. That pad is heavy. And guess what? You pay for the weight of the meat at the register. If that steak leaks 10% of its water weight into the pad, you just paid $15 for a wet piece of paper. So, we have bladed tenderized steaks filled with bacteria, woody chickens that taste like rubber, and prime beef that tastes like a penny. I know this is depressing. I used to love this place. But I can't in good conscience tell you to buy your protein here anymore. So where do you go? Whole Foods is too expensive. The local butcher can be intimidating. There is a third option. It's a way to get actual ranch quality meat, often for less than Costco prices, without the membership fee. And it's hiding in plain sight. I told you I was skipping Costco meat. But that's only 95% true. There is one exception. One tiny loophole in the warehouse that lets you bypass the blade tenderizer, skip the bacteria risk, and save about $4 a pound. You have to ignore the white foam trays. Walk right past them. You are looking for the cryovac bag. This is the large, purplish vacuum-sealed bag that contains the entire subprimal cut, the whole ribeye roast, the whole New York strip loin. Here is the secret. Costco's machines can't blade tenderize a whole roast. It's physically impossible for the needles to penetrate that deep without ruining the structure. So, the meat inside those bags, untouched. No needles. No internal bacteria. No risk. And the best part? It's cheaper. You aren't paying for the butcher's labor. You can buy a whole top sirloin for dirt cheap, take it home, and cut your own steaks. You get steakhouse safety at a wholesale price. But you have to be willing to be your own butcher. But let's say you don't want to wrestle a 15-pound slab of beef on your kitchen counter. Or maybe you want meat that hasn't been factory farmed at all. This is where we do the math that Costco doesn't want you to see. Right now, a decent grass-fed ribeye at Costco, if you can find it, is pushing $16 to $19 a pound. But if you go directly to a local rancher and buy a quarter cow, that's a share of a cow. You are looking at a final price, after processing, of around $8 to $9 a pound. That includes the ribeyes, the fillets, the ground beef, everything. For half the price of the Costco shelf, you are getting meat that was walking on grass last week, processed by a human, and never touched by a needle machine. I know, buying a cow sounds insane. But there are apps now. There are websites like Eat Wild that connect you to neighbors. You split the cow. You fill the freezer. You opt out of the industrial system entirely. If you don't have the freezer space for a cow, there is one last hack. Most people don't know that stores like Chef's Store, formerly Cash and Carry, or even Restaurant Depot, on public access days, sell the exact same high-grade meat as Costco, but often from better distributors like IBP or Swift Black, without the mandatory blade tenderizing policy. And recently, a new player has entered the chat, Wild Fork. They are disrupting the whole industry by flash freezing meat right at the source. No wet aging in a bag for 30 days. No chemical plumping. It's frozen solid the second it's cut. Is it cheaper than Costco? Sometimes. Is the quality better? Unquestionably. So, here is the truth. Costco is an incredible business. I buy my tires there. I buy my paper towels there. But food? Food is personal. When a company scales up to feed millions of people, they have to cut corners. They have to inject saline. They have to blade tenderize to make low-quality meat soft. They have to use meat diapers to hide the water weight. You don't have to eat that. Whether you learn to cut your own cryovac roasts, pool money for a local cow, or switch to a specialized supplier, you have options. The convenience of the foam tray is costing you your health and your wallet. I'm skipping the tray. I hope you do too. If you want to know exactly how to break down a whole Costco ribeye roast into 15 perfect steaks and save $60 in 10 minutes, I'm filming that guide next. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the knife skills episode. And let me know in the comments. Have you ever noticed the ear of that woody chicken? I'm Kaka. This is Kaka, and I'll see you in the next dial.